is up, Sexy Beast? Crazy Rabbit here, and today we're going to be doing top 5 sniper rifles to have on round 50, so let's go ahead and get the shit started. So we're not going to be counting wonder weapons, so the scavenger is not going to be on this list, and this is going to be everything from World War II, Black Ops 3, even though certain games might not be on this list. That's simply just because those sniper rifles either weren't that good or they didn't have the perks to actually make it a little bit better. So coming in number 5 is going to be a tie between the Barrett and the SVG. Now the reason I said this is kind of a tie is because both these weapons have pros and both these weapons have cons. Let's start off with the Barrett. So the Barrett on round 50 is a pretty decent weapon. It's going to be able to get you some kills, but it does have its cons, and that is its ammo. It has so little ammo that you're just going to find yourself empty really fast. And its other con is it has a lot of recoil. So with low ammo and a lot of recoil, you might find a lot of your shots are actually missing, and you're running out of ammo very quick because of it. But if you can actually control the recoil, you actually will be able to get some kills, and this thing does have a pretty impressive fire rate. Just pop off a couple shots in the zombie's face, it'll go down pretty quick. So that's why this weapon is actually tied for number 5. It's actually very powerful, it'll get you some kills, it just has a lot of recoil and very low ammo. Now the SVG on the other hand has a pretty slow fire rate, but it does a lot of damage and it carries a pretty decent amount of ammo, and that's why it's tied for number 5. Really the only reason it's here is just because of its slow fire rate. On early rounds the SVG is a wonderful weapon, it's very powerful, it's going to get the job done, it's going to be able to kill some zombies. But on round 50, it's really that fire rate is just so slow that that's really the reason it's not higher on this list. Yes, you can get some kills with it, all it's really going to take is just a couple shots to the face. But on round 50, if you have a whole horde chasing you, you might not be able to shoot the same zombie in the face a couple times in a row. And especially since you don't have a fast fire rate, it might be a little bit hard to do that. So that's why this weapon and the Barrett are both tied for number 5. So coming in number 4 is going to be the Locust. Now the reason the Locust is ahead of the SVG is because it has more penetration power, more ammo, and a faster fire rate, and it actually does a little bit better job on round 50. It's going to be able to take out a lot of zombies. All you have to do is just get them in one big horde and start shooting into that horde, aim for their heads, and eventually you'll start seeing them just drop one by one because of its penetration power. And since it has a faster fire rate, you're going to be able to get more shots off into that horde, and more zombies are just going to drop. So the Locust is definitely a great weapon to have on round 50. Is it the world's greatest? No, but out of all the sniper rifles, it's pretty good. Taking the number 3 spot is going to be the DSR. Now the DSR back in Black Ops 2 was absolutely amazing. Like when people first started taking this thing and using it on high rounds, we were actually pretty shocked at how good it was. We all knew that this weapon on early rounds was a monster. It was a very good weapon. But once we started to use it on high rounds, we were like, wow, this thing can actually still do some work. On round 50, it's only going to take you a couple shots to the face to actually kill a zombie. Especially if you have Double Tap 2.0, this thing is absolutely amazing on round 50. It's not like a kill instantly type of weapon. It's not one of those, so it's definitely not like number 2 and 1 on this list. But it's still going to be able to take out an entire train of 24. Just get them all rounded up, start aiming for the head, and you'll just start noticing them drop one by one. I would honestly say this is definitely comparable to the Locust. I just decided to give this one number 1 because I just felt like it does a little bit better job at taking out zombies. I think it's a little bit more powerful than the Locust, and I feel like when you're going up against zombies, you might want something that's a little bit more powerful and has a pretty quick fire rate, and that's the DSR. So the DSR is just a little bit better than the Locust in my opinion. And as long as you get all the zombies trained up in one big horde and just start aiming, you can definitely take out an entire train of 24, and then maybe a little bit more depending on how lucky you actually are. Alright, and coming in number 2 is going to be the Draken. So the huge gap from 3 to 2 is just so big. The Draken is actually going to be able to kill some zombies on round 50 very quick, unlike the other weapons on this list. Those weapons, you know, kind of take a couple shots, they're all bolt action or semi-automatic, so they're not going to be able to take out zombies that quick. Now the Draken is semi-automatic, but its fire rate is so impressive and it does just so much damage that as long as you're aiming for the head, you're going to be able to take out zombies very quick on round 50, and that's why the Draken is number 2. It's just a superior weapon. And I feel like it's a very underrated weapon as well. I don't really ever see people talking about it, and I really never see people grab it from the box. And I'm just like, dude, that's the Draken. That's like one of the best guns in the game. Why aren't you grabbing that? Do you not understand just how good this weapon actually is? And early rounds, as long as you aim for the head or chest, those zombies are probably going to go down with just one shot. And even on round 50, it's just going to take a couple shots, and with this thing's fire rate, those zombies are going to go down so fast. You can use this weapon on round 50 and it's still going to tear some shit up. Now, I recommend getting the, I think it's called ELO sight or whatever, I'm still going to call it a red dot. I recommend getting that other than the actual scope, just because I feel like this makes it a little bit easier to actually aim, so that you're not like aiming through a scope and the zombies are like right up on you and you happen to miss because you're aiming through a scope. I recommend having something like a red dot or ELO, I believe that's what it's called, just so that way you can be a little bit more accurate at close range, because I mean you're not really going to be sniping zombies from halfway across the map. So taking the number 1 spot is going to be the SVU. Now the SVU and the Draken are definitely the best sniper rifles in zombies, and they're pretty close in damage, and they're pretty close in just how good they are around 50. But I'm going to have to give the SVU number 1, mainly because it's a wall weapon, and I do think it is a little bit better than the Draken. The SVU, as long as you aim for the head, those zombies are going to go down so quick. The SVU is just an amazing weapon, and an amazing wall weapon. Like, you wouldn't think a weapon this good would actually be a wall weapon, but it is. Like, the SVU is just so good. It makes a lot of other weapons look like shit on round 50. Like, you would normally think like the Galil, the AN-94, the Scar H, the Vesper, and a lot of other weapons are actually pretty good, but compared to the SVU, they all look like dog poopy. The SVU is just such a great weapon to have on high rounds, mainly because of its headshot multiplier. As long as you're aiming for the head, this thing will take out any zombie on almost any round. Now, of course, like once you start to get up there, the SVU will stop working, but on round 50, this thing will still do some work, and I wish it was on every single map because I would totally get it. Like, imagine having the SVU and the Draken, and then maybe getting like Mule Kick and having the actual Wonder Weapon. You would be unstoppable. No zombie would try to come up on you because they would immediately get put in the ground. So I'm very curious to know, what is your guys' favorite sniper rifle? Not which one do you guys think is best, which one do you guys just happen to like the most? So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys could, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.